Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello.
My name is Jeannie, and I'm here, your host, one of the designers on the Adobe. On the Adobe side, I actually work for Behance, and with us today we have Kevin Lee.
Hi guys, I'm back.
He's back. It's the
I'm
second
back.
time.
Woo! I'm so excited.
Kevin, thank you so much again for coming back, and we're excited to see what you're going to bring today. So as everyone knows, this week is the Inclusive Design Week, and so Kevin has a lot to talk about in terms of his own design process and also what he's going to be presenting on Adobe XD. So Kevin, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us about who you are.
Sure. So my name's Kevin Lee, and I am a UX UI designer based in Southern California. And I not only do UI UX design, but I also do photography work. And I also actually made a bunch of slides to introduce this project and a bunch of stuff, so we'll get started with that too.
Can we look at Kevin's screen?
Yeah.
And hi everyone. If everyone can check and say hi and where you're from, it would be so awesome to see. Hi Hector, hi Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. I like your name. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
It's true. And so, this week for Inclusive Design Week, we started the day this morning hosted by Michael Chase and Lindsay. And then we had an interview with Kat Small, who is a product designer from Etsy. Then an interview with Liz Jackson. And then now there was a Adobe Daily Creative Challenge. And then now it's our turn. We're going to talk a little bit about what XD, what we can do. There was a new release that came out on Friday. And so we'll be demoing a little bit of that this week. And maybe we can talk about, what we're planning on doing this week.
Yeah. So, of course, I want to get started on this. So let's go to my slides. And I'm basically doing an app where it's kind of more of like a community-based app. So let's get started.
Yeah.
So, okay, like I said, I'm Kevin Lee. I'm a UX UI designer in Southern California. I also do photography work, and specifically film photography, and I've been doing it probably throughout like my whole life, since like middle school, and just being self-teaching myself, watching YouTube videos. And I recently have been doing stuff specifically for LGBTQ plus related photography work, which brings us to what we'll be doing for the app, which is an app called Come Out. It's an LGBTQ plus community app for those who have recently come out of the closet and or moved to a new area and are looking to connect with the gay community. So the reason why I wanted to start this app is because I worked with an app called Hillcrest Social, and Hillcrest is the gay neighborhood in San Diego, and it basically connects San Diego County businesses to the LGBTQ community in San Diego, and like kind of showing them what's gay friendly and where businesses will like collaborate and kind of like join with the gay community in San Diego. And also an organization in LA, a nonprofit organization called Project Contrast, also inspired this project because it's a photo project that started in Utah originally, and it kind of brings awareness it does bring awareness to the suicide rate in Utah in gay youths. So this guy that I know through social media, he made this organization to kind of like start a conversation where these gay youths will share their stories and just kind of explain like, this is what I did when I came out, and like kind of like help other people. I also like empathize with the users for this app because I myself came out of the closet. I'm out and I'm proud, hey. And I wanted to find more resources online, but it was very like hard for me to because I don't know where to start. So that's why I kind of empathize with who we're trying to target and who we're trying to design for. So what are we going to be doing? So day one, we're gonna look through some user interviews really quick that I conducted and kind of figure out like the pain points and struggles that we're having. Because as UX designers, we're basically here to solve a problem for a user and user empathy. And we're gonna conclude all the research and all the pain points that we've discussed into one slide, and then from there we can start on the different features of the app with like lo-fi, hi-fi, wireframes, and stuff like that. So, user interviews part 1. So this is Maxwell Poth. He is the actual founder of Project Contrast, what I was explaining before, and he identifies as a gay male. I asked him questions about like, what's your coming out story like? So he grew up Mormon in Utah, but his family was not that strict and super supportive. And the problem and pain point that he was having was that his community wasn't really listening to him and taking him seriously outside of his family because of his sexual orientation. And he actually had to come out of the closet twice.
Wow.
So he went back in the closet because no one was taking him seriously, and how like he just didn't feel like he could find any resources with that type of environment. But that was when it was like starting to change. Like people were starting to have conversations about it in Utah in his community. So he actually came out a second time senior year after senior year in high school and was openly gay. So that's his coming out story. I asked him, when did you come out, and when you came out, what did you do to be more involved in the gay community in Utah? So back then, again, no one was talking about it in his community, and he didn't know like what a gay straight alliance was back then because of like nobody taking him seriously. And some resources, like how did he find the resources that are gay related when he came out the second time after high school? And what he did was he found friends. He actually found a guy that he dated in high school, and they went to a gay club, and that's how they kind of interacted with the whole like gay community. And that's how he kind of learned like what to do and like he should ask about certain things and stuff like that. So with these new friends, like list some things that you would do with the new friend group. So he would collaborate and do like gay wine nights, which like I love. Who doesn't like a good wine night, right? They went out dancing, and he also did some volunteer work. He actually volunteered at the Utah AIDS Foundation as like a testing coordinator, which is amazing. And so I always ask this at the end of our user interview because I think it's super important to kind of like ask like what features do you want in this magical app, right? It's not a real app, because I feel like if you ask it in the beginning, they'll be very biased towards it. So I feel like at the end, it's like appropriate to ask like what features they want. And he basically says he wants a list of places that you can meet new people that are LGBTQ related, the gay sports league, like different activities, the different centers and resources for someone who just recently came out. Make sure there's like a lot of inclusiveness in the community, and a place to actually educate other people that are not identifying as like in the LGBTQ community to just start a conversation.
It sounds like exposure is a really big part, like
Yeah.
knowing what resources there are, and
Yeah.
also gaining the level of like community and exposure to meet people, because you just don't even know where to start to meet people. And I think that's
Yeah.
really what you're kind of aiming at for this app.
Yeah. And then just really quickly, I asked a Los Angeles-based photographer named Helen Letton Perez. She identifies as a lesbian female. So her coming out story was that she went to Los Angeles Pride, and she came back home. Her mom asked her, like, where were you? Why did you come so late? And she was like, I was at Gay Pride. Like, she was just like sick of it, and she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna be myself. And the reason why she kind of just had the courage to do that was because she saw an organization there called PFLAG, which is the Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, where a mother had a sign that says, I love my lesbian daughter. So that kind of gave her the courage to like just come out right after she was at Pride. And after that, unfortunately, like her mother did not understand that, and they didn't really speak about it with each other for a few months later. So I think that's another problem where it's like very hush-hush. And I think it should be an open discussion throughout like a relationship with either a parent or like friend. When you came out, what did you do to be more involved in the gay community? She went to like one lesbian bar. She came back she came out at 2002, and there was not as much lesbian bars back then. And she didn't really have motivation to find LGBTQ plus friends. How did you find resources that were LGBTQ plus related when you came out? Again, no motivation. And especially back in 2002, when she did come out, there was no resources specifically for quote unquote, what she said, brown women that were LGBTQ plus related. I said, can you list some things that you do with the new friend group? And just casual, normal things, go to the beach, go to downtown LA, go shopping, eat food, go to local gay bars. Sounds like a quality night or day. And then let's say there's a magical app. What features? Again, she said resources, but then this was interesting, kind of like a forum thread, open discussions, and questions that people might think that are dumb, but are actually not dumb because they just came out, they don't know like what to ask. Right. So there are no dumb questions. So just an open discussion, open forum. And also just dealing with coming out to people, coping with it, how is sex with like a same-sex relationship or in the LGBTQ community, finding relationship, and also just finding LGBTQ plus friendly businesses, specifically for in-house services, such as like a handyman or helpful ally, because she told me a story actually where there was a mechanic that came to their house to fix their dishwasher, and the guy was like, "Oh, where's your husband?" To Helen's wife, and Helen's wife was like, "Oh, I don't have a husband, I have a wife." Like, it was super casual, and he was like, he gave her like a really dirty look and kind of made it seem like that's an alternate lifestyle, which it shouldn't be.
Right.
And I think it's super important to have an app where it kind of shows like, these are people that like are gay friendly, like they won't judge you for like your type of lifestyle when they come in your house to do a service for you that you're paying for.
Right.
So I think that's just super important to put a spotlight on.
Right. One of our users asked, or someone in the chat asked, question for Kevin, is the magical app question not considered biased? I was always not sure if I should ask about it. So I think that's a great question.
So I definitely think it is biased, but it just depends on when you ask it. I feel like if you ask it way in the beginning, they'll be like, oh, this is, all the questions going further will be about this magical app. Where at the end, they'll be like, oh, okay, like taking in everything that they said before and kind of like matching it with that last question. So I mean, yeah, there might be still bias at the end of it, but you're kind of getting a direct answer from them at the end of the user interview.
Right. I feel like there's definitely a distinction between the two, right? There's one part where you have to help solve based on user feedback, like based on all the things that they mention, what do you think is important? And also like taking into account their kind of personal take on what is important. You have to balance those. So when we're designing for features or designing a product, it might be a little bit of solving a problem a user doesn't even know yet, and also solving a problem that they've explicitly asked for. You can definitely balance the two.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. So at the end of all my research and stuff, I like to have everything in one slide because it just like clears everything up. So the problem, people who come out of the closet and or move to a new city are looking to be part of the LGBTQ plus community but don't know where to start or what to look up. So we have this app to give them a platform. The possible solution, develop an app where it has LGBTQ plus resources, events nearby like their current location, an open forum for any dumb questions, and a friend finder feature in the LGBTQ plus community to either like find friends or like find mentors to like be more inclusive in a community like that. So with that being said, we will be starting on the feature where we're gonna show nearby events and businesses that are happening around the current location wherever the user is. So we'll start on some low fidelity wireframes. Let me grab the iPhone X.
And so for those who are just joining our chat now, again, Kevin is visiting us from San Diego, and he's going to be walking us through this Inclusive Design Week. In his particular app that he's working on is a product called Come Out for people who are in the LGBTQ community. And so we're just going to work on one specific feature, right? We're not aiming to handle the whole app. We're really just handling the location and services part of it.
For today.
For today.
Yeah.
Okay. And typically when you do this kind of design, how do you start? Do you start when you say low fidelity? You mean you go straight to XD? You don't draw?
I do some sketches beforehand just to like get a rough idea of a lo-fi wireframes, but I like to actually use the program to like kind of block things from my sketches. So I actually have my notes here, and so like we're chilling. But yeah, we'll be starting on the resources in the events app. And also, by the way, guys, off topic, but I love New York. I've never been to New York, and it's so freaking beautiful. It's raining now, but
it is kind of the worst day for him to visit New York.
But it's okay. I'm from Chicago, so I'm used to like weather like this. Okay, so I have my artboard for the iPhone X. I got this template from Dansky from YouTube. And he provides this like, guideline for iPhone X. I like to start with, a grid system, a 15 grid system, because it just fits perfectly. And so basically they want a feature where it shows resources and events happening near them. So I'm actually going to show a search bar. It's kind of like Yelp meets like, it's like a gay Yelp. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's great. I love using other apps as kind of like a benchmark or a kind of conversation to say, hey, what are we trying to aim for?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll have this as the header, and then we'll have like a little search bar for them. Also, we are celebrating World Interaction Day, right?
Yes.
This week. Oh my gosh. Are there some things that like you think what makes like strong design for like inclusiveness and also like diversity?
Yeah.
As we're celebrating it.
I think one of the things that we care a lot about here is, and we were talking about earlier, was representation.
Yeah.
Is making sure that, why is it important for us to come up with apps and products that address different parts of the population, not just addressing the majority, but identifying, are there places where there are people who aren't being represented? And I think that's a big part of a design problem that we have to solve as an industry.
Yes.
And so, for example, we both work a lot in editorial photography, and we talk about how...
She's so good at it, by the way. Oh my God. She showed me before the show. I was like shook, you guys. This is so good.
Very shook.
Oh my God. It was amazing. Like, she has great work.
No, we have a lot of fun. We were bonding about our work as photographers, outside of our UX work.
Yeah.
And I think, representation there is really important, that there is a large majority or a minority of people that, aren't being represented. And it's so empowering to see, different kinds of movies and media, and also people who are in our industry as UI, UX, or in product design, who can say like, hey, this is me, I'm an Asian woman, or I'm an Asian gay man. Like, let's talk about what that means for our life, and how we can really represent our, segments and our demographics, and talk about that. Because when I was growing up, there wasn't really this idea that there would be Asian women in tech. That wasn't something I had seen. So it was kind of interesting to see more and more of that representation, not just in workplaces, but also at conferences, etc. Let's talk about what you're using here. So what is this kit that you're referring to?
So this is the UI kit. I usually use this for like the cute little icons they have, because it's super quick. You can make your own, but I like to just have like something quick to like paste. And you could actually get this when you start the app. There's like a link. Here, let me see. It pops up. Where it shows the UI kit. So like more UI kits. So if you open up the app, the feature right here, it shows you like the stuff that you can get for UI kits, for like icons and other things like that,
Right.
which is super helpful.
And this is great because in lo-fi wireframes, for those who are just starting out and joining right now, it's clearly not designed for aesthetics necessarily. We're not starting with should there be rounded corners or should we pick a certain color or not. We're purely based on lo-fi, what should prototypes kind of, we're just testing what would this interaction look like?
Yep.
What would it kind of feel like when we're using this app?
Yes, exactly. So I'm actually making sorry. What happened here? So what I did was I had a banner, I put the name of the app, don't really have like a logo for it yet, so we'll see if anyone else wants to help me with that. And a search bar for like a quick search for any resources. And then underneath it, I'm gonna have a thing where it's gonna be like new events happening near you, like near your location. So we'll have a text box right here. So like new, oh, it's like, it's a white thing. I'm like,
white.
Where is it? Okay, there we go. Perfect. So like new events near you. And we'll put it flash left. And what I like to do is like a card system. So we'll have these little boxes, like very tinted white with like a drop shadow. Do you like drop shadow? Are you?
I actually am pro drop shadow.
Yes.
I believe that affordance is useful. Affordance is the idea that when you see something,
Yes.
flat design, it's not just so flat that you don't know whether you can click into things or not. Having a little bit of shadow really helps define whether or not an object is clickable or how their interaction can be manipulated. So
I'm so glad we're on the same page.
big into drop shadows.
Yes, because I think last episode people were like, for it or not for it. I'm like, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm
love
all for it too. Within reason. I don't know if I would return back to the late 2000s when people were making these insane icons out of drop shadows, but
Right.
I think in the right place.
So these will be little cards to show like the different events that are happening near them.
Great.
And then for this, I'm going to show like a description. So actually, let's just color this in to like show that something's there.
Yep.
And then this will be where the description is. So like we'll
A little
make this
overlay.
darker. Yeah.
Perfect. And so Kevin was using the repeat grid, as somebody noticed.
Yes.
And that's when you can take a series of assets on XD and you can group them and hit repeat grid, and then it'll actually repeat, and it allows you to adjust each element and also the spacing between the elements over and over. It's a lot faster.
I love the repeat grid because it just like saves so much time.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
We have a pro drop shadow fan here. It says Jordan says drop shadows are fun, and William Workman
Let's be
says,
friends,
"Oh
Jordan."
man, jelly buttons brings me back." I do remember that time. When there would be like clear buttons, and then the buttons would float. We would put a little drop shadow underneath it, like 20 pixels below.
Bringing it back.
Yes, bringing it back.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So we have that, and then we're just gonna kind of just repeat this thing. So instead of new events near you, oh wait, actually let me lock these. And then, oops, okay. And then just paste it down one by one. So this will just be showing new events near you, resources, and then friendly services. So this is kind of a solution for the pain points where people are looking for events and then resources that just recently came out or moved to a new city, and also fixes the pain point for LGBTQ plus friendly services in your house, like mechanics and stuff like that.
Right. So this makes a lot of sense to me. So it looks like each of the categories, you want to surface a few categories immediately when you see them. So you don't want it just to be one category with a bunch of grids. And so the grids flowing off the screen to the right is really useful here because it implies that there's more. You could scroll like side swipes. You're using different kinds of interaction types on a touch device. And then also probably it allows you to kind of see the categories. It implies that there are also more categories below if we wanted to add more, like have 5 different categories and different rows of stuff.
So another cool feature that Adobe XD included was spell check, you guys. And if you're like me with like terrible spelling, you can actually like, if you go here to edit and then spelling and grammar, it can like identify like, oh, you spelled something wrong, so you can check back and be like, oh shoot, I spelled resource, whatever. So it kind of like lets you like know that like, hey, like you made an error, fix this. So I think that's pretty cool because especially for like presenting something, you want to be like precise and like very grammar correct, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's great because, why don't we just use lorem ipsum? Well, we're actually trying to solve a very specific problem here. And I think always having designers who are able to copyright or at least push forward, what the buttons are talking about or the labels and be able to write those things down very obviously is really useful in a product.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I also want to do something really cool. That I was like testing this morning that I want to show you guys. Let me see if this pops up. So you know how like when you try to like refresh something, you like scroll down
And it bounces back
and
a
it
little
bounces
bit.
back up. So I'm like, oh my god, what if they like scroll down and like a rainbow kind of like comes out and then like pops back up? So I was just messing around with Adobe XD. I thought it was a really cool feature that you can do like in your own like projects and stuff. If this thing will load. Let's see.
Yep. Mincho is asking about our choices for typography, grid systems, places of buttons, because we're kind of just placing things down in a very, light wireframe. So how are you deciding, what size things should do? What size things should be, or like what color?
Yeah. So for sizing, I kind of just go off like the grid squares to get like a rough idea of like how it looks just visually, especially for lo-fi. You don't want to really go on like super quickly about like specific pixels and stuff.
Right.
You just want to like throw all your ideas out there to get like a good idea of layout. And then later on, when you talk with developers and collaborate with the team, you could go more into the nitty-gritty details about that. But yeah, as like for me right now, I'm just kind of like laying the boxes neatly, like aligning them with the square structure.
Right. So in other words, we're really just we're not looking so much for a grid layout that is perfect or a lo-fi wireframe that's perfect yet. We're purely looking for layout and also for general user flow. Like what should happen when you click on one of these? Where should you go? What does a overall user flow look like?
Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is let me see if it's working. Wait, I think unlock these.
So the interaction we're trying to play with here is what if we could scroll down to, or drag down to kind of refresh the page. There we go.
Yeah, so
And
like when
that's
you refresh it, a rainbow pops up.
That's cool.
Ooh!
It's a fun little interaction there.
I don't know, like when I make low fidelity wireframes, I use the like grayscale boxes. I just want like a pop of color just to show something like bam. Okay, well, that's what I wanted to show you guys, that like something I learned super cool this morning, just experimenting. So going back to the project, we're gonna start on the navigation on the bottom. So we'll grab actually another box and then put it on top here. Perfect. Oops. To the bottom. kind of like to like pop this up to see how it looks like on the actual iPhone.
Right.
So let's see. So like it needs to be lower.
And so here you're trying to come up with the nav for the entire app, right? Like a kind of 5-tab nav for the bottom of it.
Yes. So let's see if this will show up. Okay, I think that's, yeah, right there. And then as far as like icons, we're gonna have a Discover icon, which is like the resources and events. We're gonna have a forum icon, a friend finder icon, and your profile icon, and then a setting icon. So 5 icons. So for the first one, the resources one, we'll actually go back to here. Actually, we can make it instead of just quickly getting an icon. A search bar is really easy. You just have to have a circle. Get rid of the inside, make this white. Make it a little thicker, and then pen tool. Oops. Bam. A little thing like that. And then, let's see, for our forum, open forum thread one, let's do like a chat box. So, let me see. I guess we'll just make one again, so square. So I'm grabbing the shape tool for the square and then kind of just making my own icons. It's good to use the kits, but if you want something more customizable, then why not make your own, you know?
Yeah, that's great. It's always a good toolkit for people to have. And also, you learn a lot about what makes a good icon, because you're sitting there and you're learning about how icons work at scale, which is when, you know, an icon zoomed in really close might look quite stupid. And then also, but if you zoom out, it makes much more sense. And so learning to make your own icons is a nice little practice that I do sometimes on the side.
Oh.
Yeah.
You make your own icons?
Not all the time, but just, you know, to practice, and when I am wireframing something quickly and I can't find the right icon, it's a great way to kind of refer to. And as Tim mentioned in the chat, there are more resources, including icons, at theadobe.com/product/xd/resources.
Yes.
And Raphael brought up a great point that he traces icons to practice. And so that's a great way also to learn about the process that another designer has used to say, you know, what's the proportion for a great search icon, or what's the proportion for a great user icon.
Yeah. I like the trace idea. I didn't even think about that. Oh my God. See, this is why I love the design community, because you learn from other people, like things that you wouldn't even think about. Let me see. I'm trying to like center this.
Minja is asking, why is the nav at the bottom and why does it need a nav?
So the nav is in the bottom because you want to do something that the user is familiar with. So like if you look through other networking and social media apps, usually the nav is in the bottom. So
Instagram,
Facebook, Twitter. So you, again, want to empathize with the user and like kind of be familiar with what the user is used to. And the reason why we do need a nav is because there are different features on the app other than just finding friendly services, resources, and events. We're going to have a open discussion thread feature, a friend finder, and also a profile, like your profile page.
Right. So in other words, if we were maybe making an app with far less features, maybe like a single feature app, similar to like Boomerang, Instagram's Boomerang, or something that just all it does is just kind of one simple feature, maybe we wouldn't need a nav. But in this case, we're kind of going for a community standpoint, you know, a community product. So we're going to be able to work on something that has multiple features buried into different parts of the app.
Yes, yeah.
So which icon are you working on now?
Yeah, so I just finished the open forum, just very minimal, simple. I'm kind of playing by how I'm going to lay out the actual feature of that section of the app. So for the open forum, it's going to be like a bunch of like columns showing just an open discussion, like anything goes. So I'm kind of embodying that with the icon. For the friend finder, I'm doing something kind of not like Tinder or like Bumble, like the swiping method, but like more of a grid structure to show like who is like closest to you by like distance that is also in the LGBTQ plus community. So it's gonna be easier for them to find people nearby. So I'm kind of just outlining the icons to kind of make it show like it's a collection of icons, like they go together. Because you don't want something that's like way off as far as like a collection of icons. So I'm actually gonna grab this to show that it's a thing where you meet people. That.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat for your outfit today.
Thank you. From Urban Outfitters, shout out.
Not sponsored by them.
Oh, I wish. Oh, I really wish. What's your favorite place to get like your go-to outfits?
Oh my God.
Jenny?
My new place is actually Jason Wu.
Ooh.
Looking fancy here.
That's like bougie. Get it.
Bougie AF.
Is he like a stylist in New York or?
Nope, he is a designer. I do believe he's in New York though.
Oh, that's so cool. You're wearing him right now?
I am wearing him right now actually. I think this is a Jason Wu piece.
Wow, it looks so pretty.
Yes.
I love it. I feel like we're on the red carpet. Like, what are you wearing today?
Either that or we're like Johnny Weir, like the, what's the guy? He always does the Olympics ice skating with Tara Lipinski. The two of them are like the co-hosts for the Olympics ice skating part.
Oh,
That's kind of what I feel like we're like.
We're them.
Yeah, we're them. We're co-hosting the Olympics.
We're close to it. Adobe Olympics, same thing.
And so what's the fourth icon you're planning to make here?
So the fourth icon would be just like a regular profile. So like this human being.
Oh, might be grouped.
Yeah. So for me, I know there's like a bunch of shortcuts, but I love to use the help thing and I just like type what I gotta like look for.
That's so smart.
But
Also really useful in Photoshop when there's a lot of shortcuts, you don't
yes.
know what they mean, or you're not sure which toolbar they're at. You can always search for it in the help section.
Right?
To
it's
apply
just
it.
so much easier to like, I mean, both ways is really good. Again, we want to have a stroke of 2 to keep everything consistent. And then we'll have the 3 circles.
And what are the 3 circles here?
To like log out or like settings and stuff
see.
like that. Yeah. But we won't really go into that because that's not really kind of what we're focusing on.
Right.
So we'll just have 3 dots for setting. And then look at here, got that rainbow.
So on the left, Kevin has the preview open so that he can see in its standard size what it looks like.
Yeah. And then since they're in the search section of the app, we'll highlight that as like another color, like to show that they're there in that feature of the app.
Right.
Cool. So we have the low fidelity wireframe for that. I guess we can start on if they click on one thing that they're interested in. So let me see. Let me put this here. So you get the idea, like this is how it'll look like. So let's say if they click this, right? It's going to take them to a place that gives them more information. So let's to the front. Oh, it looks like there was 2 of them. Okay, let's delete all this, lock this. Oh, we still have that hidden rainbow in the background. It's just like peeking through. Okay, and then have this iPhone template. Perfect. So I think it was Maxwell when I interviewed him. He mentioned it was the, let's see. He mentioned the Gay Sports League. So let's use that as an example as an event that someone can go to near them. All these artboards. Perfect. So we'll just name this Gay Sports League. This will be obviously an image. And then we'll have a little box that shows more details regarding the event with a drop shadow again, because we love our drop shadow.
We do love our drop shadows here.
And then let's bring this back. Here, perfect. So this little drop shadow will show the date, the time of the event, and then where the event is located. So we'll have, let's say, this event is October 1st of 2018. So we'll do this, 2018, and then we'll center this.
Tim in the chat mentioned that in addition to previewing your stuff on the actual screen on the left here, as Kevin has, you can also open it in the app. There is an XD app, so you can preview it on the actual device. It's always really useful, especially when you're coming up with assets that you're not sure if the text will look too small or if the interaction makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Using the prototyping on and then opening that on the XD app on your iPhone or Android is always really useful.
Oh, nice. I actually use the app all the time to prototype it, and we'll actually be doing that on the third day.
Ooh.
So,
quick preview into how we're going to use that.
And what we'll be doing. Okay, so I have this, the date, the time. So let's say, when do sport events happen? Like,
This is the wrong.
I know, this is the wrong people that ask this question.
Let's just say 11 a.m. Because, right, they're doing like a daytime sports, like adults, in New York we do something called Zog Sports where people get together and play kickball or basketball together. So we'll do that.
And that's like an hour and a half, like 12:30?
Yeah.
p.m. Okay, cool.
It'll be a short game. Someone wants to know what are some sports. Listen, we are not experts at sports.
What is sport?
What is sports ball?
What is that? So, okay, that's the timing for the event. Just like mess around that. And then location, what's like a LA location? Like, we'll say Silver Lake, California. So this just shows the information on like where every event is. We'll actually make this smaller. Maybe 12, yeah.
Hector's really glad that we're very real.
Hey, you know what? We're being 100 with you. You gotta be real. Being real is like, you have to be.
It's a big part of our inclusiveness conversation for this week, right?
Absolutely.
Gotta
Be
yourself.
100 with yourself, right?
The 100 emoji is in my most used on my iPhone.
Is it really?
It is.
Good for you. That's amazing.
It's a solid emoji.
That's when you know that person's like real, like for sure. I think mine is that girl with the red dress, like.
Yes, the dancing one.
Yeah.
Oh, for a while I was using Information Girl.
Oh, that's like a totally different meaning for me. Like, I have the tea, like, I'm gonna spill it.
Oh,
like,
mine is like sassy. I'm like,
yeah.
Somebody will be like, oh, when are we meeting? And I'm like, it's in the email.
Like, check for yourself.
Yes.
So not only are we real, but we're like sassy. Okay, so we have all of our information on the event, and then now what we're going to be having is the description of what the Gay Sports League is. So we'll actually put this down here. And then I guess this is a good time for Lauren to but
Yep.
should I just Google it?
Yeah, why don't you just Google Gay Sports League and see what comes up?
Oh, true. Right.
And we can copy one of their event things. I think somebody in the chat earlier was writing about how
Oh, I think the Wi-Fi's not working.
Oh.
But I'll just have.
Yeah, just you can do a little bit of some.
Yeah.
But somebody in the chat brought up that, writing copy is super important for designers, and we're definitely big fans of that because copy for design is important. It provides the context for what you're designing, right? You're not just making empty words inside of boxes, but really that you're trying to frame the reason for why this design should exist. And on this page, we're specifically looking at an event page, almost something like Meetup or an Evite would say. You could see the event and you can kind of understand what it is very quickly.
Yeah, so to understand the event more, why not have photos as well of what they did before? So that'll be a slide feature as well. I don't know, I'm a visual person. If I'm going to an event, I want to see people having fun at the event.
Right.
So that could be something that they do. Actually, I want to make this bigger. 15. Oops. I promise you guys we're going to make this all pretty. Just stay with me.
Remember, it's day 1 out of 3, and so Kevin and I will be here today from 12 to 2 Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Tomorrow, 12 to 2 Eastern Standard Time, and then Thursday at the same time.
So stay tuned if you want to see my beautiful face. Just kidding. Okay, so we have the name of the event, the information about it, what it is, photos about it, and then now I think it's cool to have all this information. Do you want to call them or do you want directions to this event? So I actually, before I came here, I took a screenshot of of Google Maps, just of Silver Lake. So I'm just gonna put this here as a placeholder, so right here. Actually, if the screenshot you took was way too big and you don't like the size of it, you can make a box and then just pop it in there.
I do that a lot. I do a lot of drag and drop directly into the repeat grid or into a square that I've already put in, a shape I've already put in. So if you're doing a user profile, it can be a circle, and I just have a bunch of images saved to my desktop that are called mock-up images, and so they'll be split out into users, or in my case, because I design for Behance, a lot of them will be project covers or project content, and then I can drag and drop it directly in. It's great. It's a little XD trick there.
It's easier too, right? Because it's you just plop it in. You don't have to resize it.
Yep.
Okay. So this is distracting, this navigation, so I kind of want to just hide it because I'm going to have something underneath it. And then we'll pop it back out when I'm finished with what's underneath. So I have the Google map. Oh!
It looks like it's time for a chat and win.
We have our chat and win.
So typically for a chat and win, means we're asking everyone to kind of log in and chat a little bit in the our chat at b.net/live, and we're going to actually select a winner at the end based on your chats. So it'll be at random, so it's not about performance, but it's just about participation. And today we're going to actually have a prize at the end for the chat and win. That's what you're winning. And so for the chat and win question today, we're actually going to ask you, what is your favorite emoji? And if you could drop it into the chat, we're actually going to go to a video and then we'll pick a winner. All right, just for those who are coming in for the chat and win, don't forget, we want to know what your favorite emoji is. There's a lot of thumbs up going on.
What's your favorite emoji? Let's see.
The monkey emoji. Ooh, hearts and kissy is good.
Oh my God, yes, with the hearts, yeah.
Yes. For a
this
while,
one's cool too.
yeah. For a while, I was using a lot of the one with two hands next to the face. Where
Oh, with
like,
the blush?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so cute. I love that one.
It's like, hey.
Especially when you're like trying to flirt with someone like, hi.
I'm a flower.
Oh, congratulations to
Ash J.
Ash
Wow,
J.
you can do it right there.
That's
Ash
awesome.
J, today you win a notebook from our sponsors Moo, moo.com, and they are amazing for printing out beautiful business materials. So they have great, really thick business cards and other pamphlets and print things. And then for everyone else in the chat, I believe we do have a coupon code for Moo. So you can go to moo.com/Adobe Live if you also want to participate in having new business cards. They actually also allow you to design it. You can design it and upload it yourself.
I actually use Moo for my business cards.
That's great, yeah.
It's quality. You'll get quality products. Cool. So I guess we're going back to me designing. So where were we at? Oh, we're doing a call and directions section. So I am going to grab the same box with the drop shadow, but instead of having the drop shadow at the bottom, I'm gonna have it at the top. So it's gonna be -3 on the Y, and it's gonna be behind the map. We're gonna go back to our icon set, grab the phone icon, be like, ring ring, I'm here, and I'm queer.
That should be the button label. I'm here and I'm queer.
That actually is iconic. I actually love that. But for now, we're just gonna call it call as the label for calling the organization. So we will put this here like that. Again, we're not really looking for like how it looks aesthetically, just like structure. Did I just group these together?
You did by accident.
Okay, well, my handy help tool will ungroup it, I think, right? Yeah. Cool. And then we'll have one for directions. So let's put this here.
Great, so we're coming up with some call to actions here.
Yeah, like take some action when you click on the event.
And I love this because you're not waiting for them to scroll to be able to see those actions. You can see it right on the page before you scroll. And there might be more content below, like the map might get bigger below. But right when you land on, you click at the event, you see it's the Gay Sports League, and then immediately at the bottom you can see on the left there it says call, and on the right it says directions. It's pretty straightforward, and you know exactly how to move forward from there. And I think that's always important for users, is that as we're designing, we're thinking about what is the flow, what is the ideal state that we want the user to end up in.
Yeah. Oh, and then, so after I do that, actually it'd be cool to have like a pin to show
Where it is.
on the map. Oh wait, there's one right there. Oh, whatever, it's at a field, so we'll put it right here.
Perfect.
Okay, so from there, that's pretty much it. Oh, we will actually want a check-in button because that'll be useful on the user's profile to show other people that like, oh, this person checked in here and like, that's what they're interested in. So what we'll be doing is, actually I'm gonna lift this up and do another box. And then just have a button here that says check-in once you're at that location. And then do this, check in, swipe. And then after this, we can add color and photos and make everything pretty. Because that's pretty much the like events and resources section of the app.
Great.
So, actually make this black. Okay, and then we'll show the navigation underneath this map. This has to go in the back. Cool.
So Kevin is using the layers panel on the left there to kind of look at how the page is structured layer-wise.
Yes. lock all this. So hopefully that's all locked. Oh, this has to go underneath. Okay.
Ooh.
So this is cool because like you can see what you're like prototyping, like going through the app while you're designing it. So like, okay, you can see like this is not staying with everything else. Actually, I want to have this fixed because.
So how would you do that? So you selected them, and then there's a check mark on the top right that says fixed position when scrolling.
Yes. So if you want something to stay on the screen, you click this. So like for Silver Lake, it's clicked. And if you look at this, at my screen, it's fixed. But for this text, if you click on the text box, it's not fixed, and it moves with it.
Right.
Oh, see, now this is, so everything has to be in the back, behind the header,
Right.
to hide underneath. So again, with this, I have to hide this, send to back. Cool. And then we'll center this more. Actually put this more where it'll look good. Perfect. Cool. And we have our app. So now let's make everything pretty, you guys. It's my favorite
Styling.
part. So as far as this rainbow thing, I took out the purple because that'll be our main color for the
Ooh.
app. So what I'm going to be doing is literally clicking everything and then making it this beautiful purple color. But you can also make a assets thing for color.
So the assets panel is on the bottom left, the second icon there.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. And then for colors, you can add colors. You can click on a color and then add it. So let me delete this one. Oh wait, oops. So it's just easier, like when you click something, you can just click this, or you can click multiple things and then make it that color. For this, the navigation, I actually want it to be white, but let me change these colors first to a gray.
Somebody says, we need more rainbows, and they're right.
I know, it's gonna be super rainbowy and colorful and gay, so we got this. Let me click everything and make them. Oh, wait, delete this one. Okay, perfect. This white. This one would be the same color as these. Okay, and then this will be that purple color to show that they are on the search resources section. Cool. So we have our nav and our header. Let's change this to the same purple. And then let's actually give them a little thing here where it's like search things, because they probably don't even know what to search for. That's why they downloaded the app. So they're like, why is there a search bar? So let's grab this and then just say search LGBTQ plus events, resources, and friendly. And then we'll make this smaller, maybe to a 10.
And that's great. So placeholder text inside of buttons and as inside of search fields is really important, right? Because like you said, you can passively help people understand the point of why they should use this app.
Yes. So this will kind of like guide them as to like what they should be searching when they use this app. Okay, perfect. Ooh, my favorite part, actually showing the different resources and events that are currently available. So some event, we'll pretend we're in LA. So let's say we're looking for events that's near LA that's LGBTQ plus based. So I've actually did some research. I have the Gay Sports League event, and then we'll put it behind here. And then I have a RuPaul Drag Race event that's happening in LA, and also LA Pride Festival that already happened, but we'll just keep it there as our events that are near us. And then for these, I kind of want to do a like purple or white background for it. So let me see. Click this, and then do like a gradient where it kind of fades in with the photo. Let's see if I want purple or if I want white. So linear, and then is it this one? Oh no, it's this one. Can I switch this? Oh. Wait, this, there.
Done. That's great. So he's applied a gradient, and if you guys don't know where that is, that's on the top left of that panel there where it says linear gradient. It's a small drop down that changes from a solid color to a linear gradient.
Actually, I might do white.
And for those of you in the chat who are wondering who Talon Wadsworth is, who's joined us today, Talon is actually the original, someone called him the father of XD. He's actually one of our lead designers who works on XD. And XD, for those who are just joining now, is the program that we're using to design and prototype the app that Kevin is doing. Kevin is a designer from San Diego, and he's prototyping for us here, or actually low fidelity wireframing for us here, a app for LGBTQ plus events and resources, so that people who are coming out or recently have come out have access to resources quickly via an app on their phone.
I'm so happy to be here because I've never been to New York, and New York is all about like design and like it's just super creative. So like, but when I got here, I went to a coffee shop, and I've never seen so much aesthetic people in my life. Like, people are beautiful, creative, amazing in New York City, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not living here?
That is high praise.
It's amazing how, even at a coffee shop, I'm just like, how do they look so good at a coffee shop? Like, you're just getting coffee.
Well, we do have an office on Fifth Avenue. Our office is based on Fifth Avenue, and so a lot of the fashion people are here.
Yeah.
And it's always very fun. We see a lot of celebrities sometimes.
Ooh, did you see any? Who did you see?
I think we saw Matt Damon once in Astor Place.
What?
Because he owns an apartment there. It was very cool.
What?
I'm always the last person to see a celebrity. Like,
really?
I think the last time I noticed one was Sarah Jessica Parker. She was inside of a bookstore with her daughter, and that was very cool.
That's so cool. And it's so like cash, like they're just like.
And New Yorkers are very cool about it. Like, you're never supposed to acknowledge them. You don't even look at them. And then later you fangirl quietly with your friends, but it's like
in
not
your group chat.
In your group chat, correct. Or you like sneak a photo in a restaurant, but it gets like very not done to. You're not supposed to walk up to them and ask, can I have your autograph?
There's rules, you guys.
Yes, exactly.
Oh gosh, maybe I won't be doing good here then. So I would just like scream. If Ellen DeGeneres, oh my god, if Ellen DeGeneres was walking around New York, I'd freak out. Okay, so we have our little like section for events. We're gonna do the same thing for resources. Kind of want to go over the different resources in LA. So one that I found was the Los Angeles LGBTQ Center, and like my friend Helen said, the PFLAG, the Parents Alliance and Friends for the LGBTQ community.
I actually have a quick tip for you here.
Yeah.
So what you could do is if you could actually select all the images here and drag it into the first one.
That's right.
And it self-populates for you in the repeat grid.
Yes.
One of my favorite features here, and that's why I say that I save a lot of the images separately in a folder called mockup images on my desktop.
Okay.
And I can just drag them in, and it just auto-populates like a big grid.
That's right. It's just super quick. It just like gets it done.
Exactly.
Okay, well, since I already did this, just paste this down. And then I'll say PFLAG. Los Angeles. And then API is the Asian and Pacific Islander Equality Organization in Los Angeles. So they actually target specifically for Asian and Pacific Islanders in LA that are in the LGBTQ community, which is super cool.
Tim wants to remind us that we can actually add those text pieces as part of our repeat grid. So maybe we'll try that for the last one. So what you could do is you can ungroup the last column here.
Okay.
And just make it the first. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you can delete these two.
Oh, these two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Delete that, and you can delete your two grid images there.
Here?
Yep.
Okay.
And then copy. Ooh, you have a lot going on there.
Wait, okay.
Yep. All right. You can copy your P flag and the gradient.
Okay.
And put them on top of your.
Oh, and then use a repeat grid on that.
Use a repeat grid on that, exactly. Then you don't have to sit there and like manipulate it over and over again. And then, oh, did it work? Select it again.
Okay.
I think you need to highlight.
Oh wait. Oh, I have this thing. Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, there we go.
Grid. Exactly.
Sweet.
Boom. And then you can actually double click inside of it and change the text inside. So you can double click the text. And then that way you don't have to manipulate it one by one.
Who mentioned that?
Tim did.
Thank you, Tim.
Tim says yes.
Yes. Tim, you have to like teach me more tips.
I am queen of repeat grid. That's all I use in design.
You?
Yeah.
I need to like use that more often because it saves so much more time.
It does.
So friendly services, let's say home services for like repairing stuff, food and drinks.
Yep.
So this is like happy hour or like they would want more like be more part of the gay community. Let's call this like automobile repair. Something super random. And then I actually have photos for that as well. Is there like a way where you can have a specific order, like if you have it like this?
So what you could do is you can select, let's say you put them in a list.
So home services, food and drink, and then automobile.
Yep, and then drag and drop that in.
Oh, cool.
See?
Nice. Sweet.
We did it.
We did it! Oh my God, good job. See, teamwork. I love it. And then I kind of want to have like view all as an option as well, just to show that there are more than just 3, and you can swipe it. So let's make this less heavy, and then just copy and paste that.
That's great because you're giving people the option to not only swipe but also have a select to be able to view everything, probably in a grid that wouldn't flow off of the screen. Right?
Correct. Yes.
And I think it's great because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I think a lot of XD or user experience folks feel like they have to come up with all new types of how we would work for, a button selector or a drop down, and that, it has to be a brand new way of working. Mm-hmm. But really, I think we're not, because we're coming up with a service that we want a large majority of people to be able to use easily and quickly.
Yes.
I think it's okay to say, hey, a side swipe is a very common way to browse a series of cards. Someone asked, like, why would you use cards? Well, cards are a common way to see a bunch of categories. Correct. And it's okay to look at that and say, all right, these are patterns that are existing in the user experience world out there that people commonly use. How can we use them appropriately and in the right context here?
Yeah. So with that being said, we have our first page like basically kind of done. So let's unplug this. Let's flip this up a little bit. And then, so we have the main page of our app, which is finding new events near you, resources, and friendly services. I didn't really focus on like the spacing of how it looks like, but you pretty much get the idea of like how it should be laid out, since it's like the beginning stages. And
as you guys notice, Talon who is the lead designer for XD, He's in our chat. His entire team, they're really active. The XD team is particularly well known within Adobe for being super responsive to customer suggestions and people who are designers coming in and saying, hey, I have a feature request or a suggestion. And so Tim put in the link so you can always upvote a specific feature. In this case, if you were trying to prototype side scroll here, like so you could scroll through the thing, we don't have that feature yet, but you can always upvote it and ask for it. And Talon is obviously just super receptive and really open to hearing user feedback from you guys.
Yes, we love a Talon. Okay, cool. So we have that finished. So let's design where they click on Gay Sports League. So this is where they are trying to get more information about it. So let's see. The header image we'll have here. We'll just insert it like that. Send it to the back, and then we'll have an overlay of the purple. Just the same purple, but maybe, wait, what? This is not.
Huh.
Oh, it's this.
The bar.
There we go. Perfect.
Layers, they're important.
Yes, super important. And then, ooh, actually, do I have a shadow on this? I should. Cool. Cool, cool. Okay. So it shows the date, the time, and then the location. And then you know when like you're so focused, you're like so damn quiet?
Yes.
This is me. I'm like trying to make this look so damn good for you guys. Okay. This is like way too thick. So
How long did it take for you to pick up XD as a design tool?
You know what? So I have a major in graphic design, and my school doesn't really focus on UX UI, so I had to actually find mentors through like networking events. And my sister, thank God I have her, she is a senior UX designer for Disney. So she really helped me and like mentored me throughout my whole like design process for UX UI. And it's just so good to have like a role model to look up to, because she like explained everything for me. And I also went to a lot of AIGA events, Adobe events, and creative morning events. And that's where I met my other mentor, Heba, who actually was on the show and referred me to be on the show. So the power of networking is insane. And I think just like having that is super useful.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to further your career with it.
How about like learning XD specifically? Did it take a long time?
So learning XD, not really. I mean, you have to be committed. I watched a lot of lynda.com videos and youtube.com videos, which it kind of like showed you like how to use a program. You can learn anything on the internet this day. Like honestly, like you can just search it on Google and find it. So that's what I've been basically doing. So I'm like self-taught. And also, of course, learning from other people, again, in networking events, like what different things they do on Adobe XD compared to like what you do.
Right. I think that's what's so great about XD is that you could really, especially if you're part of the Creative Cloud, if you're like you have Creative Cloud, it doesn't cost you anything extra to use XD. It's just part of the package, and you can always pick it up and learn on the go. I think I picked it up within a few, I would say like less than a week, the basics in a day. You could do the basics in a day. It's very intuitive.
For sure. Yeah.
And getting it fully going, it takes about, I would say, a week. And then obviously like getting it to a place where you feel super good about it, you could do it in 2 weeks. And I think that's what's so great about XD is that it opens the door for a lot of people to think about design and talk about design. A lot of people in the comments are talking about how school is, great and it's a great resource, but there's always other resources that they're looking for, like mentorship,
Yes.
And I think XD is a great way to start in terms of practical skills, getting started there, and then later honing your work continually in other ways via careers. Mentorship can come in a lot of different ways. Kevin mentioned his sister. I think the way that I found it is actually through other coworkers and getting referrals from people who I've met who are, more advanced than me in their career. They might be head of design somewhere else or senior designers elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, did you also like watch videos as well to learn?
I did, and I also just experimented. I felt very intuitive. I felt like I could get 90% of the way there, and I think shortcuts and things like that are where I would need more videos or more assistance, but generally, see, like that drag and drop, you did it. I showed you once and you dragged all the images in and they look great.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, like just like something simple like that, like is awesome.
Yep. And you have a degree in graphic design, and I actually don't have a design degree at all. I actually have a degree in English. And then the comments, a lot of people are asking, I know, in English literature, a lot of people in the comments are thinking about like, what's the role of design degrees and education? And I think, it's definitely a conversation our industry is having because there are more and more programs that are able to get in. Yeah. I really respect people who can get a degree in it right now because it's just such a new field and it's really exciting, I think, to learn and teach there. But I think a lot of us don't have degrees in UX. That wasn't a thing when I was going to school, so.
Yeah, I think, because my sister, shout out to Laura, she got a master's in UX design when it first started.
Yeah.
In Chicago. So like, that's when I'm like, what is that? Like, what is user experience? And then she literally told me everything about it and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's like psychology mixed with design. Like you're designing for a user, and that's when I was like, I need to like learn more about it. And I'm actually the one that kind of, I wouldn't say like introduced, but like started the conversation of UX design at my school because it was more focused on print and like digital.
Right.
And once I mentioned UX design, my professor was like, oh, how do you know about that? And I was like, my sister's a UX designer. And like, that's when they actually made a specific UX design portfolio class because like I kind of started the conversation about it.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
In New York, I would say the UX programs are pretty new. And I know at Parsons and at SBA and NYU, they all have it now, but they're all within like 5 years, I think, of start. They're pretty new.
Oh, with their programming?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like a new thing. So what are you working on now that we've put in we've put in our colors.
Yeah.
We've styled a little bit more. We've put in images that make more sense so that people can see the context for what the event is and how fun it is so that they know what to sign up. And then what are you working on right now?
So now I'm just adding color and also photos to the Gay Sports League, like when a user clicks it, to show like more information about it.
Right.
So we have like the overlay of purple with the hero image, what it is, the details about the event, and then I just like made a short little blurb about like the Gay Sports League is an LGBTQ plus friendly event that hosts a bunch of sporting events.
We are not sport experts here.
Sporting events nationwide. Come join us and play some amazing sport activities with us.
The two of us, we should have maybe picked a different one. The two of us are not sport experts.
Yeah, I mean, you can like kind of fake it, but like to a point where like when people ask about different players, I'm like, yeah, like he's a good player.
Yeah, I've heard his name before.
Yeah. So like red flags, if anyone wants to have a sport conversation with me, I do not know anything about it, and I'm sorry. So let's see. Since we're going with the theme of purple, I want to change these icons to become purple as well. Okay, what? Cool. And then...
You can like triple click if it's grouped. Ooh.
Oh, it's this call thing. Oops.
Yeah, Ash says that I self-learned Photoshop, Illustrator, and XD from Behance streams and YouTube videos, and I think that's definitely something we are leaning into more, seeing how Behance and Behance Live and Adobe Live can really help people learn and pick up skills, on their own time. I think you don't need a degree to be able to engage and be able to learn from other designers. And I love to think of this as, people were asking, how do I get mentors? Here's your mentor, you did it. Kevin is here, and all of the streams are available on b.net/live as replays, so you can always access them later and go back and see what tricks Kevin did, or like the tips that he's talking about, or the things that he cares a lot about, and be able to refer back to that.
Actually, I see one of them now, like the person that I talk to through Instagram, Ash. I'm going to look through his UX UI design and give feedback to it, because learning from Heba, my sister, and other mentors, it's just if I could do that with other people too, oh my god, that's awesome. And then also learn from them too, it's just awesome to have a community like that.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. So we're basically almost done. I guess we can also prototype, connect the...
Yeah, let's connect the two, just so we see how the one page flows to another. I think your icon is floating though.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, you gotta send it down the stack of layers.
Yeah, let me bring everything back, and then let me color this purple as well. We just love purple today,
Feeling it, we're feeling it.
And then, let's see. So, if I click this, I just want to see if everything is underneath the nav.
I think the nav is too high, maybe.
Oh yeah, I'm wait, why is it all the way up here?
So if you guys see that little blue dotted line with a little tab on the left, that indicates to you where the, what we used to call the fold would be. In other words, where the screen would end at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Cool.
Nailed it.
Oh, that thing is bothering me. It's just little things. Let me see. This has to be in the back. And then lift this up where it's perfect. Cool.
And as people were mentioning in the chat, what's a good place for us to have a conversation about UI UX outside of just these chats and these live streams. Talon brought up that there's a weekly XD challenge, and they have a Slack room. And so if you want to participate in that, it's on b.net/daily creative challenge. And at the bottom, there's a Slack channel for you to join, and you can always talk to people there. And there's a lot of people who are new to UX, but also people who have been in the industry for a while, and they have great conversations there. So all right, here we go.
Cool.
We're prototyping.
Yeah, so we have our first page here with the rainbow refresh, and then our second page of the actual event. Okay, so let's go to our prototype section. And basically it's just one thing, this gay sports league to this screen. So I noticed that there was something new for, there's time transition as well.
Yes.
Which that will be coming up soon and another day, so stay tuned for that. It's such a cool feature. I can't wait to show you what I come up with for that. But as far as this this app, let's see. If we're on here and I click here, oh, perfect.
We did it.
Oh, but one thing I noticed is, how are they gonna get back to the page? So let's see, let's go back to these icons.
And this is why prototyping is so useful, right? As you're scrolling and using it, you're oh, wow, okay, there's no way to get back to from where I was before.
From point A to point B, but how do you go back to point A? So let's have this arrow at the corner, right here. This white. I wonder if there's a way to actually... Ooh.
There we go.
That's cool. Gosh, Adobe XD is so customizable. I love it. Cool. I think it's like way too. So from there, we have our app, and then we just have to prototype this to go back to this screen. And then also when they tap here, I guess, oh, we should group that as one icon.
So here Kevin is switching between the design and prototype tabs. They're on the top left for those of you who are following along. So he's back to prototype now.
And then when they click the search icon from this screen, they can go back to the home screen of the search. Okay, so let's test it out. We are on this page, and they're looking through it, they're refreshing. God, I can't get enough of that.
I love the rainbow
it's just
refresh.
Like, oh my God, I have to like add a unicorn or something in there.
Make it sparkle emojis.
Oh my God.
The glitter, yes.
Let's do that, yeah. We just got super excited for a second. We're just like, everything glitter and pretty and a rainbow. Okay, I noticed that there's like a weird space though.
Also, we're talking about crashes in the chat. Should we save this? And what would you? How do you typically structure your file names as you when you're saving out these files?
Oh, for like
for
the
yeah,
Adobe?
for XD. Mm-hmm.
Well, since I actually just did the hi-fi directly from the lo-fi, what I would usually do is have separate files for low fidelity, and then make a copy of that XD file, and then work on high fidelity from that, which I didn't do here, but
right.
Just to show you guys to make things pretty.
Right.
But, okay, so let's say this was low fidelity, right? I would basically do wait, let me save this. As, let's say, so this is the events resources.
So you name it based on the feature then?
Lo-fi, yeah. And then if this was lo-fi.
Got it.
And then I would save that. Where did I save that file?
Where was it?
Let me resave that.
Oh, in introduction, that's where it is.
Oh. So I would just copy it and then call it hi-fi. That makes sense. And then when I have all the screens and features done, what is cool about Adobe XD is like you can copy and paste artboards to one whole XD file. So all the features and apps will be on one screen, and that's when you can prototype and connect all the screens together. So since I'm doing this like as a 3-day thing, I'm gonna have like 3 different files, but then at the 3rd day, I'm gonna have everything copied and pasted in one XD file. But that's just how I work, but you can totally just do it in one XD file. Like you don't have to like follow what I'm doing.
I'm the type that does it in one XD file,
Gotcha.
and then it'll fill with a lot of screens, and then I'll archive that file, and I'll put it in a folder called archive. So I'm like a mass artboarder.
Nice, cool. So yeah, that's what we have for our app. Oh wait, I noticed that this is not. See, when you prototype, you guys, you notice all these things that like, it's just quick little fixes. That's very detailed. Like I noticed that this was moving with the screen, so I had to fix it.
Right.
But as far as that, yeah, everything's working. If we click here, it's going back. If we click here, it's working. Scroll down.
And if you click on your search icon,
it goes
back.
Yeah.
That's great.
And we got it, you guys. And now, I guess, I mean, that's all I had for today, but we can keep on working on other features.
Yeah, let's just keep doing it.
Cool. So, let's see, what's our next feature? Open thread forum. So let's delete this. And keep this. search bar. And then we, like how I said before, we kind of want to keep the same layout of the icon. So notice how it's like 3 different lines, like just going down.
Right.
I might just have, I guess we'll start with both 5 for this too, if we're really open. Just showing different threads of discussion.
And so that makes a lot of,
Yeah.
it's time for another chat and win. So today we are actually going to have 2 chat and wins, which is extra special. So
Whoa.
again, you guys know what the prize is. The prize is a notebook from Moo. And so we are actually going to do, for this time, what should our question be?
I don't know. What's your
Should it be, what's your favorite sport?
What's your favorite sport?
Because we need to be educated.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite sport, you guys?
And so we're gonna go to.
No.
I know the design industry is quietly panicking. It doesn't have to be the best sport ever. We're just saying what your personal favorite is. We're gonna cut to a video, and then after you guys log in and chat, we'll pick a winner.
Thumb wrestling?
We're dying
We're
from
sorry.
your
My face is redder than my hat.
Someone
oh my
wrote
gosh.
pencil fighting. Pew-pewing.
Oh my god. Wait.
Oh, man.
Table tennis? Oh, I like table tennis.
Table tennis is
That's
cool.
a sport?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ping pong.
Oh. Duh. Oh my god.
My favorite sport is RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes! Woo! Oh my god, being creative is sport.
Enough?
Sporting enough.
That
yeah.
is true.
That's true, yeah.
Oh, man.
We love a good beer pong.
So for those of you who haven't logged in, you're free to log in or sign up now and submit. And then we're going to pick a winner in a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Making sandwiches at a sub shop.
I've never played foosball.
I'm very bad at it.
Wait, what's foosball?
It's that table. You know, like when you look at the tiny soccer players.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, Virgil. Pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza is my personal sport.
Competitive eating.
Competitive eating. Actually, those are super crazy. If you've seen those,
Gosh.
yeah.
There's this one guy on YouTube, like he like shoves a bunch of like
Hot dogs or like burgers or
oh my,
something.
like a bunch of food, but it's insane.
Someone wrote Quidditch. Oh, did we pick a winner? All right. All right, we're gonna pick a winner in a little bit. But someone mentioned Quidditch.
Thanks for educating us.
Yes.
About sports.
I feel like I learned a lot in the last 2 minutes.
Now everyone has to pick a player in that sport that they like.
Somebody pick Quidditch. That's just gonna not be real players.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
Okay, cool. So for our open forum feature, we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna just show, I might change this later. We're having fun with it. We're having a great time. So I think it's good to have the different things that Helen wanted in the open forum, like questions about like sex or questions about relationships or coming out and how to cope with stuff. So I don't know if I want to do categories or if I want to just have a thread of things with color coordinated subjects.
Right.
Because we are dealing with the rainbow, so that gives us a lot of color to work with. So let's see. You know what? Let's go with the rainbow. Let's go with.
And for those who are just checking in now, we're working on the second tab of our app that Kevin is making called Come Out. And here we're really looking at something for open forums where people can chat and decide, learn and access resources from other like-minded people. In this case, our user base would be the LGBTQ plus community.
Yes.
And again, because we're doing a forum based, he's actually basing his design on the icon on the bottom, which has, a series of lines. So here it's going to be a text-based layout, I'm assuming.
Yes.
But before that, we're going to do the same drag and drop. Actually, we're coming up with a different icon. I thought we were doing the drag to refresh thing again.
Oh.
We don't have to. What are we working on now?
Because, girl, I think it's there.
Ooh! Copying an artboard.
Gotcha.
For those who didn't see how he did the scrolling rainbow refresh, you can always scrub back on our video. It's live, but you can always go back and see. And again, these videos will be available as replays on behance.net/live.
Oh my God, we love our replays.
We love our replays. So there's always somebody who's like, can you show me again? And I'm like, I have a secret. Scroll back 10 seconds.
Oh my gosh. It's like also embarrassing to like look back because you're like, oh.
The worst is hearing yourself speak.
Yes.
I sound like a crazy person to myself because, when you talk, you sound different in your mind than you do when you're being video recorded. Oh, and here we have our winner, Anika Reed.
Anika!
Woo!
You won the notebook.
And the notebook is from Mood.com, who is our sponsor for today. And for those of you who didn't win, we still have a way for you to get a 15% off discount at mood.com/Adobe Live.
Cool. Do you have Moo business cards as well?
I do not. I actually don't have business cards, and I always regret it. Like, I'll go to a meetup, and they'll be like, can I have a business card? And I'll be like, I don't have anything.
Ooh, what kind of meetups do you go to?
Oh, so recently I've been going to a lot for UX designers in New York City.
Look at you.
Yeah, and they'll also host them at, different offices. I think there was one at the BuzzFeed office. Their design team is, very big on UX, so
Oh my God.
very exciting.
BuzzFeed. Oh, that's right, in New York, right?
Yeah, they're
That's
actually
so cool.
really close to us on 18th Street.
Shout out to BuzzFeed. That's awesome. Where do you find these networking events?
So I typically go to meetup.com for those.
Oh, meetup.com.
yeah.
That's right.
And I think that's always a great way. And sometimes I'm invited by other people in the industry. And so from networking, things I've done in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I know, like for me, like starting the initial conversation at networking events is like, was super difficult in the past, but like after practicing, it got better. What would you say are like some tips that you would give to someone that is like new to networking and stuff like that, that like is trying to like start initial conversations with people?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a big thing when you first start. You're standing alone in a room, you're holding some drink, and you feel terrible. You feel like everyone knows everyone except for you. You're like the only person who doesn't know anybody, and especially if you're a really young designer or a really new designer, or somebody who's breaking into for the industry for the first time, you might be like, oh my God, I don't know anyone, and everyone seems to know each other. But the reality is that the kind of people who go to meetups and they go to networking events, they often see, it's actually pretty small group, and so after some time you'll start seeing the same faces over and over. And I think that's always useful to know. And then the other thing that I love to do is I love to go in and instead of trying to introduce myself, which is, you still have to do a basic intro, like here's my name, here's what I do, but try to engage the other person in what they do, right? And ask them about themselves. People love talking about themselves. They love talking about their areas of expertise. So that's always one thing you can ask. What is something you're working on right now that is super interesting? What is something that you personally enjoy that, you think I would find interesting? And people have all kinds of great hobbies or personal, things that they're really committed to. So yeah.
Yeah, I also was like, just going with also like friends too, kind of helped too. Because you would talk to your friends and then you would be like, oh my God, like, we like know that person from another networking event, like should we just all go together? Like what do we say? And then I guess that's like a good supporting system if you like all go at the same time to like talk to that one person. But yeah, before it was just like super nerve-wracking.
Oh, it's very nerve-wracking. But it's good to know that you're not the only one who feels that way. I think that's big in the design industry. Everyone's like, I'm the only one who feels like I don't know what I'm doing. Well, surprise, nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's good to know. Just be, again, 100.
Yes, our favorite
with
emoji.
yourself. So let's see. what do I have here? I'm trying to look for a message box. Use this.
And so for those of you who don't have access or don't know what Kevin is referring to for this kit, it's actually a UI kit that is available when you open the XD panel. We have a little get started page, and underneath there in the bottom there is a little UX like kits, so that you have icons and different kind of header sizes or even colors that you can access so that you can use them in your own prototypes or quick wireframes.
Yes, for some quick icons and inspo.
Yep.
Let me see. So I'm kind of just having like, again, open forum thread, and I want to somehow label like each color as like orange means everything about coming out. Red means something about sex. Green means coping with a family member who's gay or something like that. Or I don't know, like I have to figure out how I'm going to show like a key to show like this color means this forum. Or I might just have a box section of each color, and then a user would click that color to go through all the coming out forums and stuff like that. So I don't know if I want it like randomized like this, or if they can filter it where they can only see the orange ones, or if there should be a grid system. So we'll like go with the flow with that. Yeah.
And so here on the right, you're saying that that should be a icon that shows you how many chats or specific or entries are in that specific topic, right?
Correct, yeah. And I kind of just showed like a preview as like, I just came up to my mom and ... story time, like what is it? Because people love a good story time.
Yeah. And so why did you pick this specific topic? You know, we talked about how, you know, is it something that you care a lot about and you're very passionate about?
Yeah, you know what? Especially growing up as a gay Asian American, it was difficult because my parents or whatever, they didn't really fully understand it, which is totally understandable. And I kind of wanted to, you know, be the person where someone else who is identifying as like a gay or lesbian or part of the LGBTQ plus community to realize that, I don't know, like have a voice or like a platform to like showcase this type of work, because I feel like having this type of diversity and then including it in our society is super important.
Right. We want to, in some ways, acknowledge that there are people who go through different types of walks of life, you know, and like experience different things, and we want to acknowledge their experience, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, and it's just starting the conversation, I think, is super important about it. Yeah, so I just put like 17 replies for this forum, and then I guess I can do like a repeat grid.
Yeah, let's repeat grid. Talon will be so happy that we're using this.
Let's see. Oops. Oh, I actually clicked that too. Repeat grid. Perfect.
And what's great about repeat grid is that you can change the spacing between each of the objects here. So when you change that spacing, right, he can adjust it so that it fits exactly in the middle of each line.
Yes, yes. Actually, I can do more. But, and then put it in the back. Perfect. And then I'm going to change this because we're not in the search anymore. We're in forum. Let's make this great. Perfect. Cool. And then let's just randomize this color. I don't know if I'm going to change this, but we're just having fun with it.
Right. And so a UX problem we'll try to solve maybe tomorrow is how we can figure out how people can select different categories so that they can select all the blue ones or all the green ones, and they can understand that each of the colors correlate to an actual topic.
Yes. Exactly. So if we look at this, I mean, it looks super busy as far as like layout. So we'll definitely change that up. But I think just the idea of showcasing that there are people replying and having the same issue as you in the LGBTQ plus community.
Right.
That just like, for me, I guess, feel like I'm not like alone in this situation or problem, that like there are other people going through this and that it should be an open discussion. So just getting the rough idea of like, yes, there's 17 people who just came out to my mom and blah, 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 blah. And they can just kind of like cope with the community like that, so.
Yep.
Cool. And I guess we can look at maybe how it'll look like when they open up a specific forum.
Yep.
Let's get rid of this.
Attila has a great question in the chat. He says, 86% of users are Android. Why focus so much on iOS?
Because I love Apple.
I think that's a valid answer.
I don't know. It's just like, I guess aesthetically wise, like I'm just for Apple. I don't know. What would you say?
I would say it's important for us to as designers to be able to consider all mobile users, but it's great to have a specific focus. So for example, my focus is the web, so I primarily design for websites. And so when I did my Adobe XD live stream, I typically did it for the web. You know, and you could say, oh, but so many users are mobile now, why did you design for the web? But that's just kind of my specialty and expertise. And I think being able to focus on one OS or one specific context that a person is using a product is really important, because not only are you focusing on the device, but also the patterns that are inherent to that device. So you understand how an Apple design should feel like, an Apple app. And Apple really cares about that, right?
Yes.
Android has their own standards for material design or how the interaction should work on their OS. And so you're just an expert at Apple. Or iOS, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, I mean, also just like growing up with Apple as well, like just having a better understanding of it. But I do think having experience with both, like Android and iOS, is super rewarding, and like it's like better, of course, because you know how to design for both.
Same. I think if there's one place I wish I could improve my own design on, it would probably be mobile design, because I'm primarily web-based designer. And I think more and more people are on their phones, they're on different devices. I'd love to figure out how to design for a smartwatch. That's something I've just never done at all.
Me too. I've never done that. I want to do that too.
It just seems so different and dynamic. So I think there is a lot of things that we could learn there and definitely talk about in the future.
Yeah. You know, I always wanted an iWatch, but my fingers are so damn big that like I can't text anything or like press anything. So like, I don't know. I just have like chubby fingers.
Maybe it's time for us to switch to Samsung watches, because their faces are much bigger.
Oh,
Their
is
faces,
it?
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. So we'll have an iPhone, but an Android watch.
It's all right to mix it up, I think. Okay, so let's review what we've done today, because I think we're going to wrap up for the day, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we can do for tomorrow.
Yeah, so we basically did user interviews about like what our problem is, and we wanted to create an app where recent people who came out and recently people who just moved to a new city to be more part of the LGBTQ plus community, because they don't know where the resources are. So this is the app that has everything in one app. We then started on the low fidelity wireframes for the new events and resources and friendly services that are near you, that you can easily find these places, events, and people to go to as a person who recently came out. And you can learn about a bunch of different resources from this. From there, we then made everything look really pretty by adding color, images, and description text to kind of like wrap everything up, and then prototype our app by connecting screens. And then for tomorrow, we started our open forum. We don't know if we might want to change it to make it more organized. But we started the low fidelity wireframes for that. And then for tomorrow, we'll get a more better structural idea on how we'll design the layout for the open forum section of the app and start on the high fidelity for that. And then probably work on the friend finder low fidelity and high fidelity as well.
Right.
Cool.
So you guys should definitely tune in, not just today, obviously, but also tomorrow from 12 to 2 Eastern Standard Time. And again on Thursday, so this is a 3-part series. This is day 1 of 3. And we're gonna be doing more chat and win, so there'll be ways for you to win more swag, and then also for you to be able to maybe even show your work. I think we're really excited to show the process that Kevin has. So yeah, I think if you guys are into that, there's more coming up today after our time period. There's actually 2 more sections of live events, and this was our schedule for this week, for today. And yeah, we look forward to hearing more from you guys tomorrow. Kevin will have another fabulous outfit, no doubt, and maybe even different color contacts.
Ooh, it's gonna change every day, you guys.
He's wearing light blue right now.
You get a close up? That's good. No.
Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks, guys. It was so much fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.